afraid to be in charge.
We support
the investigation into the possibility of war crimes committed by current or past government officials. Agree?
We're looking at the evolution of this we're trying to capture this as a historical movement, you know, and be somewhat of a source of record for what happens here.
With a small, disorganized protest on Wall Street in Lower Manhattan here in New York has grown today to demonstrations nationwide against corporate greed. From New York to LA, even up in Maine, people took to the streets to express their anger and make sure their message is heard. But what exactly is their message?
It's a joke. They just want to have a party. It's like their lame excuse of trying to have Burning Man or something, right? It's a joke.
Independent media, I think, actually, you know, they're actually here to hear people's opinions, and they're actually interested in what's going on. I think most of them actually agree with what we're doing here.
There was a Dan Rather special on Occupy Wall Street that was 12 minutes that actually seemed somewhat measured. I mean, as best as you can expect. So I don't think it's fair to say all corporate media has been just trying to cast blame.
I don't think the traditional media, mainstream media, has really been covering it the way that giving it an honest shake. I think that the TV news in particular have just remained on the periphery, but they've gotten better about it. And
Fox News has said some pretty bad things. They said, for example, that the only reason people are coming here is because there's free food. Boston Herald called us terrorists and said the anarchists are ruining this thing and said we're leading it, but there's definitely no leaders here.
You know, so they're beginning to adjust their view of it and give it a more fair portrayal.
I've read some measured articles and thoughtful things, then I've read some wacky ideas and crazy speculation that had nothing to do with what's actually going on here.
The crowd is easy to mock. They are disorganized, they look funny.
All you have to do is take a shower and they can get a job if they went to college.
It's a lot easier to marginalize people when it's like, hey, that weird hippie or that guy doesn't look like me or whatever. That's it makes it a lot easier.
I don't think it's come through from the media that I have seen as to why people are really here. I mean, the quickie answer then is, well, I don't like the way things are. And of course, there's a lot of truth to that. Most people don't like the way things are.
So the best thing you can say is that we're all here in solidarity to do what we all agree on. So it's not about necessarily agreeing with every little bit of tactics or every even ideology. It's about, like, we all know there's something wrong here.
I'm going to go see are you going to go over there? What do you have to do to get home?
Just get
you did? And what's happening? Nobody's here.
We make assumptions about what a person is saying based on a soundbite. There was one man here today that was saying, put some stones in a bottle to shake it to make noise. And 3 or 4 people heard a couple of words from that and thought that he was talking about Molotov cocktails and or throwing bottles to break. And so 3 or 4 people here said, oh, no, we don't want any violence. Well, he didn't want any violence either. I take away from that, grateful that I was here to see the rapidity with which people who did not understand still said, no, we don't want violence.
I'm going to go see are you going to go over there? What do you have to do to get home?
Just get
And I feel that the mainstream media is portraying sort of focusing on the fringe elements of this movement and not sort of the average people, day-to-day people that are here. Not, you know, they want to show the anarchists, the people with funky hair in their shots, but that's not what this is about. And
they're the people who will grab the camera and will get attention and know how to get the attention because they are extreme.
For example, when Cornel West was here, they only focused on him and like the people who were dressed in like maybe a suit and tie or whatever. And like although there were anarchists surrounding Cornel West, they weren't even included in any of the photos.
And I think that this group needs to be careful of who pretends to speak for this group.
Like, for example, I've already heard a lot of people thinking that this is going to turn into like a Republican campaign or Democratic campaign, and I'm trying to prevent that as much as possible by just putting in my opinion. I think here it's we're not telling people we have answers to their questions, but we're telling them that we are willing to work on it with you.
And we all have a slightly different take on it, so no one can speak on it, and I think that's the strength of it. So it's not about one leader, and it's not about one thing.
It's about generating dialogue and getting all sorts of different people from all sorts of different walks of life together to be humans and share ideas on how we can really change this country and make it great again.